Whose blood should not be in the Honda?
Nobody's blood has ever been in the Honda.
There is blood. There was blood in the Honda.
It was a frenzied knife attack, a horrific and brutal slaying that left 3 children without a mother, and everything pointed to her ex-husband Richie being responsible. But even worse, it turned out that the victim, Angela, had been 2 months pregnant with her new boyfriend's second child when she died, adding an extra layer of tragedy to her murder.
She was pregnant when she was murdered.
She was pregnant when Richie killed her.
Police immediately suspected Richie Wilder of committing the crime, although the full extent of his involvement was still unfolding. But the role of Richie's new wife, Cynthia, was less certain. Was she as innocent as she claimed? Or had she played a more active and sinister role in Angela's death? These were questions the police were desperate to answer.
Whose blood do you think was in the Honda?
I don't know.
I'll tell you, Angela's blood.
But during the interrogation, the police weren't the only ones to learn something new, because Cynthia would also discover that her husband had been living a double life the whole time, and that the life she thought they had built together had been founded on lies and deception. When cops found Angela dead in her home with no fewer than 44 stab wounds to her face, neck, and chest, her ex-husband Richie immediately became the prime suspect. The police quickly brought him in, and his questioning, along with police investigations and DNA evidence, all confirmed Richie was responsible, despite his flat-out denial and lies. But when confronted by the overwhelming evidence, instead of coming clean, Richie dramatically changed his story entirely. This time, admitting he had been present when Angela was killed, but blaming her boyfriend Chris for the murder. According to this new version of events, he had only been there as part of a plan the pair had hatched to catch Angela in the act of cheating on Chris, so Chris and Richie would be able to back each other up in court in an attempt to gain full custody of their respective children. But the police were one step ahead of him and quickly torpedoed this story with video footage showing Chris at work during his night shift at Walmart, providing him with a rock-solid alibi and proving beyond all doubt that Richie's new story was just another fabrication. However, throughout his 2 interviews with the police, Richie was certain about one thing, and that was that his present wife, Cynthia, had played no part in the murder, whichever version of his story he told. But Richie was deliberately misleading the police because, far from being innocent, Cynthia would later be revealed to have played a significant role in planning Angela's murder, although the cops didn't yet know this, and this was information that would only come to light much later. For now, though, the police were extremely keen to hear from Cynthia everything she knew about what had happened, so they also took her in for questioning. Angela had first met Richie Wilder in an Alabama church they both attended. Soon after, they married. Richie joined the Air Force, and after he completed his training, the couple were moved to Minot Air Base in North Dakota. However, despite producing 2 children, their marriage turned out to be an unhappy and even abusive one, and after just 3 years, they divorced. But not before Richie had been court-martialed and discharged from the military for a domestic violence incident that saw him putting his hands around his wife's throat. After her divorce from Richie, Angela got back together with Chris Jackson, a man she had known since high school and had dated twice previously. And this time, they seemed to find happiness together. At the time Angela was murdered, the couple already had 1 baby of their own, and they had just learned that a second was on the way, and they were planning to get married in the near future. Richie, meanwhile, had met another woman, Cynthia, and the 2 had also married and had a child together. But custody arrangements over Richie and Angela's 2 children continued to be a source of friction between the 2 families, and is so often the case, and above all, this is what eventually would drive Richie to murder. According to the agreement, each family took turns to keep the children for a week before handing them back at a designated location each Sunday afternoon. By the time of the murder, Angela's boyfriend Chris was doing the weekly exchange alone, so Angela wouldn't even need to see Chris. So badly had their relationship broken down. During these exchanges, Chris described how Cynthia would sit silently in the car, scowling at him as the two men handed the children over, and Richie would often mutter things under his breath when the men met. For her part, Cynthia complained bitterly about how each time the kids came back from Angela, it would take them several days to settle back into their normal routine, and their heads would be filled with strange ideas put there by Angela. Cynthia didn't know Angela personally, but it was clear she harbored unhealthy levels of anger and resentment towards her husband's ex-wife, blaming her for many of her family's problems. But were these feelings enough to make her want Angela dead? Or did her husband act alone? These were questions that police felt only Cynthia could provide answers for, and they were ready to push her to find out what they wanted to know. There was more, though, because the investigations the police had carried out in the weeks since Angela's death had revealed some unexpected details about Richie and Cynthia's life together. And in an attempt to coax some answers from Cynthia, the detectives were preparing to confront her with their discoveries. Cynthia's whole life seemed to revolve around her role as a mom and her job in a kindergarten. And throughout the interview, it became apparent that her family life with Richie and the kids was genuinely what mattered most to her. But as the detectives pressed her, they began to understand that she knew far less about Richie's life than they suspected. And the information they revealed to her must have shaken her world to the core, making her question everything she had done for the man she loved and believed she could trust.
Still being detained at this time. We have some questions for you. We have Richie down here. Did you see him? Okay. Do you know why we have Richie down here? No clue, no ideas whatsoever? Nothing on top of your mind? We've arrested Richie for the murder of Angela Wilder. Okay. You tell me?
Cindy, we've been doing this investigation now for 5 weeks.
Straight.
We haven't been sitting here doing nothing. We've been putting in a lot of hours. We've been working with a lot of other agencies and people. And the evidence, when we talked to Richie before, the evidence, or he said the evidence will show the truth or something similar to that.
Okay.
And that's he was right. He made us go the long way around, but that was right. We have evidence backing up the fact that we arrested him. Okay? And we also know that you know more than what you told us on day one. And that's what we want to talk to you about. We know a lot more about Cindy and Richie Wilder than we ever wanted to know. We know a lot about your personal life from your electronics and from people that we've talked to. And again, that's a lot more than what we wanted to know or that anybody should know. Okay? But we're talking about the death of a human being. Whether it was a human being that was liked by you or not. It's the death of a human being. Okay? And we want to visit with you about it, and we want you to be honest with us this time.
I have nothing more to say.
Well, we know that you do. Okay?
You told us that you know that you do, actually, when it comes back around to it.
We have a
What did I
lot.
say?
You lied, and I can show that you lied.
Cindy, we have a lot that we want to share with you too. That may be a surprise to you, or it may not be. That's up to you. But it's stuff that I would think that you would want to know. Are you okay with that?
Stuff about me?
Stuff about Richie and you.
Both of you. I mean, when he says the last 5 weeks, I've gotten to know you and Richie Wilder really well when I didn't even have to talk to you. I know more about your guys' life than I care to know. And I don't, I'm kind of 50-50 on what your relationship, your marriage really is like, either behind closed doors or not.
I am
Who talked to?
Who did we talk to? We talked to a lot of people. I bet you we have at a minimum 30 different statements. That's
From family members, people I work with.
everybody.
I don't mean any disrespect by saying this, Cindy. I'm a little bit confused about your relationship with Richie. I know he's your husband, but I'll tell you what, you don't fit the criteria of the other women that he's sleeping with.
My
Not at all.
husband's not a cheater. Do not accuse him of that.
Oh, we don't
Oh, I
have
can
to
prove
accuse
that.
him. We have proof. Do you
From
want to see?
emails from Angela.
No.
No. We're not talking about Angela, we're talking about Jennifer. We're talking
A
about,
co-worker that we watch her kids sometimes, and she cooks food.
okay, I was afraid that might have been the story that you were
Yeah,
giving.
I did too. This is Jennifer, right?
Yeah.
This is Jennifer. And this is Jennifer Lynn Padilla, or she also goes by Jennifer Lynn Wong.
Okay.
Or J-Lo is who he calls her in his phone.
Yeah.
We sat right in front of Jennifer, just like we're sitting in front of you right now. And Jennifer told us about the sexual relationship she's had with Richie since the beginning of the year.
Well, then that's awesome. Congratulations.
We're
to
not
them.
trying. No, we're not trying to offend you or piss you off with that information. We're not.
Because I know it's not true.
But it
And you're
is
trying to rattle my bones.
Okay. You want to know what else?
Cindy,
is
we
true?
can play the recordings. We can show you some
Recordings in
videos.
her house,
we
recordings
wouldn't
in
do
my
this.
house,
We-
recordings at their work.
Cindy, we wouldn't do this if we didn't have proof. I'm not out to throw people under the bus. I'm not. I don't want to throw
Well, it
this in
sounds
your
like that
face.
from
No.
day one.
No. No.
I can understand.
If my ex-husband died, I'm sure I would be the only suspect in that situation too.
We haven't had one suspect. We checked into other people. But Cindy, I can,
Where's Chris at in all of this? He just disappeared?
No.
no, we know exactly where Chris is.
The whole time we've known where Chris is.
Okay. And I can understand you saying, you're just trying to rattle my cage. That's totally, I would be thinking the same thing if I was sitting in your seat. I honestly would. But we can, and I am so sorry to say it, because I was under the impression that you knew about some of it. But by seeing your reaction, I don't think you did. Okay. And what I mean, there's more than one. Jennifer and Richie were trying to have a baby, or she thought she was pregnant even at one point.
Twice. 2 months back to back, she thought she was pregnant.
Okay.
Right, Richie?
And as Detective Mattice shows you some of the other photos, you're going to see the type of women that he's been hooking up with. And that's what I didn't mean to disrespect you. That's what I
This
was
is why you
saying.
went to high school and asked inappropriate questions. He's fucking 10 years old.
Nobody went to school and asked inappropriate questions. I've got that interview too. No one asked inappropriate questions. I didn't. He was there.
What do you think
Ask
was,
if dad kisses other women. That's completely
No,
inappropriate.
That's not what the question was.
What was the
That's not.
question?
Now you have to remember too, it's an adult ask. I'm sorry, I don't know help. Okay, that's not the question I asked. We got information. We had to follow up. Okay, you did not.
Information from who? Her daughter, who thinks she's a fucking fairy
No, it came from an adult.
that
Okay.
they work with,
And we have to
probably.
follow up on it. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm being completely honest with you. I wouldn't throw pictures in your face. I wouldn't say this stuff.
Well, it's just a picture of her. I can see that on Facebook.
Right.
It shows me no proof that she
She-
slept with my husband.
I have the proof. I have messages after messages after messages after messages.
That
I've gotten
doesn't
her
tell me that they
interview.
slept together.
There's people at the hospital that knew they were sleeping together.
Did they record it?
Your husband talked about it through text message with
That doesn't
her.
prove shit. That's text message.
Okay.
If you want to look at my phone conversation I've
You know
had
who
with other
this
men,
is?
no, she's fucking ugly.
That's Joanne. She's at the hospital. You met her at the hospital. You know who this is?
No.
That's another one. And that's not it.
he's got relationships with all three of these women. And there
Because
is
of
more.
And they're
messages?
recent. They're recent relationships.
Not because of text messages.
No. We sat down and talked to her in person. She sat in that chair.
100% sexual. That's all it was. She doesn't really give a shit about Richie other than sleeping with them.
You know what? Richie lost his job because of these little bitches.
Richie lost his job because he lost control of his anger. We have his employment records. We know what happened.
Yeah, because...
Not because of these, in your words, not because of these little bitches.
No.
They love him.
Mm-hmm.
They love him. She is still loves him.
Yeah, because her ex-husband was a fucking psycho. They got married.
Do you know that
when she
Richie
was
pays for
14.
things for her? Do you know that?
Yeah.
What does he pay for? What do you
Well,
know?
I don't know. He's helped her out with car, with rent.
And you're
She's
okay
made
with
us
that?
food. I help people out all the time.
Okay. But he's also been having sex with her since at least
Well, I want to
February.
see proof of that. Do you have it on video?
I don't have it on video. I've got tons of her in front of me.
I don't care what he fucking says.
Cindy, I think we have her on video, don't we?
We have Joanne on video saying
We interviewed her in her apartment.
I don't want to see a video of them saying shit. I want to see a fucking video of them having sex with my husband. That's what I want.
Cindy,
I
now
don't believe you until I see that.
Cindy, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We have these women talking about having sex with Richie.
And he talks about when they had sex. He goes into detail about the sex they had with them.
Is
When
it
he's
a text
talking to
message?
them. Absolutely. And in person, we've heard it from them. It's not a coincidence that at least 3 people that I have pictures of have been having sexual relations with your husband. That's just not, back to back. He hid their number in his phone under a male's
Under
name.
J-Lo.
No.
I knew that.
She's Steven in his phone. Steven. This is Steven. Does this look like Steven? This isn't Steven.
Steven's one person or multiple people?
This is Steven.
Okay.
This girl is saved in his phone as Steven.
Okay.
And he deletes all of his messages.
I don't look through his phone. I don't give two shits.
Cindy,
I trust my
let
husband
me tell you something, though.
100%.
well, then you're wrong. And we're not doing this to piss you off, okay? This is Richie. We have dug into his life and we've looked at him under a microscope. This is your husband, okay? We can play you recordings of us talking to these women. We'd be happy to do that. We can show you videos of recordings that we've done. We can show you and have you listen to recordings of many of his coworkers that say, yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm aware that he's doing that. Yeah, he's in a relationship with her. She works down
You
in
know
this
what? If
department.
you went to my previous employment, people would probably say I was having an affair with other people too. People like to fucking talk
No,
in
they
this
never
stuff.
said that.
You went to people at my old job?
Yeah.
The group home that I used to work
No, I'm talking about Roosevelt
The
School.
last school that you were at.
Nobody said that. Are you having affairs with other men?
at. Currently, no.
Were you then? Or-
Never since I've been married to Richie.
Okay. Well, he is busy. He's very busy. Away from you.
And I'm going to tell you, I feel bad for you. Again, I'm going to reiterate 5 weeks. 5 weeks I've gotten to know you and Richie. Okay? He is lying and lying and lying to you. And I hate that I have volumes and volumes of evidence of that. And it just kept coming up. Because I see Cindy as someone that's always home with the kids. Or at work. Or it's just your circle is just so small. Cindy doesn't get to do all the fun stuff Richie does.
Because I choose not to.
Because you choose not to have affairs,
husband-
which is the right thing to do.
Doesn't have this wild, crazy life that you think of either. He used to work 12-hour shifts and then he'd come
But
home
he
and
made
sleep.
time. No. He made time after work to have sex with these women. He did. And I understand and I saw it. I didn't have to talk to him. I didn't have to talk to you. I saw what he was doing to you over and over again. Why is he deleting his text messages? He doesn't want to get caught.
I don't look in his phone anyway. Ever
I'm not
since
saying you had to. You didn't have to look in his
it's
phone.
a trust thing.
It
And
is.
so you understand,
If you had a
too.
whole different life.
It deletes them from you, but when we run the forensics,
find
it brings them back up. We
That's-
see the
that's how we
deleted
found it.
content.
And I feel for you. I feel for you. I see that the kids are a struggle all the time. I saw that day in and day out for you. I see the struggles that you've been having. I know you were trying to get pregnant. I know you're pissed off that the people around you are pregnant. I feel for you. And it's absolute bullshit that he had this whole other life. How is that fair? That's not. And you're at home taking care of your child with Richie and these 2 other children that I'm sure you do love and care about. But how is that fair? He's a manipulator, and he has been for a very long time. And I think you do love him. And you care about him because he's your husband and he's the father of your children. But he has been living a complete other life. And it's not fair.
Their lives.
Lives. And you know what made me sick about Jennifer? Is that you know Jennifer. You know where Jennifer lives. You know that Jennifer watches your children. You know that Jennifer makes you food.
You know her children.
You know
You've
Ivory.
attended parties.
You know
huh?
Ivory.
Their daughter, yeah.
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 The birthday party at Oak Park. I think it was Oak Park. And all along, he's been sleeping with her on the side. 2 months in a row, she thought she was pregnant. And I'm going to tell you this. He was happy about it. How is that fair when you're trying to get pregnant?
How do you know he's happy about it?
Because I could see the writing. He was never pissed. He was never pissed. Jennifer told people at the hospital that she wanted to get pregnant by him. That she saw them being...
Yeah, there's also people wanting to buy his sperm at work.
I don't know anything about that. I see Richie abusing everything he has in his life. He's taking advantage of everything.
Who wanted to buy his sperm at work?
Well, I don't know specific names, but he just said...
And again, no disrespect, but he was given that sperm away. Did you know that Angela was pregnant?
No, I did not.
She was.
When she was murdered, she was pregnant.
How long was she?
I don't have the exacts, but we have confirmed with our medical examiner that she was pregnant.
Was it Christopher's? Chris's?
Christopher Jackson's?
Mm-hmm.
Are you thinking that it might not be?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is that?
Because I know her history also.
Okay.
She cheated on Richie with Chris while he was at basic training.
Well, Richie was at basic?
Yeah, I mean, this was before they got divorced.
Right.
She's always been cheating with him since their whole marriage.
It was Christopher's.
Yeah. The baby was Christopher's baby. But she was pregnant when she was murdered.
She was pregnant when Richie killed her.
Don't say that.
If
It's
he
the
did,
truth. That's the evidence that we've
change it.
gathered.
What evidence?
it's scientific
What's
evidence.
what was the
mess-
weapon used?
We cannot change the scientific evidence. It's solid.
Well, I want to
can-
know what
nobody
the
can mess
evidence
with it.
is. You're accusing my husband
Absolutely.
of cheating on me, of having sex
Well,
with these
we have
3
proof.
women,
Because we have proof.
and now of killing
What-
Angela.
What do you want to know?
Yeah.
I want to see her dead body. I want to see exactly
She's in
how
a grave. She's been buried. She's been laid to rest.
Well, I want to see a picture. I want to know exactly. You have this evidence. What evidence?
Scientific evidence. And when I say that, that means DNA. You can't mess with DNA. You can't change it. You can't take it away.
That you got from our house when you searched it without a warrant?
We have DNA evidence.
You gave us consent, and that's
Yeah, because you
recorded,
were
and it's-
harassing us.
No.
But it's not from your residence. We have DNA evidence that we took from the Honda. We have DNA evidence that we
Of
took
course,
off.
there would be Richie's
No.
DNA in my Honda.
Of course Richie's DNA's in there. Whose DNA shouldn't be in the Honda?
Whose blood should not be in the Honda?
Nobody's blood has ever been in the Honda.
There is blood. There was blood in the Honda. Whose blood do you think was in the Honda?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, Angela's blood.
Where was it?
It was in the Honda. We're giving you information. We are not out here
How
to
do I
hang
know
you,
this is
Cindy.
real information.
Huh? This is real information.
We don't, this isn't a bullshit time. Somebody's in jail for murder. We're not bullshitting you.
We're
We're
not
telling
going
you the truth. And again, I'm going to explain again. It's DNA evidence. It shows exactly who it belongs to.
and it's not the only DNA evidence. That's part of it. Do we owe it to you to tell you these things? No, we don't. But We want you to tell us what you know. That's why we're sharing these things. Because we know you know more. Were you with him when he did this?
I was at home.
Okay. So did he stay at the house at all that night?
Yes, he came home after work.
Okay. What time did he leave the house?
When?
That night.
He didn't leave the house that
Yes,
night.
he did.
Did leave the house that night.
No, he didn't. I was up several times with the kids and he was out cold.
That's not true.
That's not true. And let me tell you this before you say anything else or we go further. Don't dig a bigger hole for yourself. Because you're in that hole with Richie right now. I will tell you that. Don't make it bigger and deeper.
And understand that we're used to people digging holes. Everybody does it. But the deeper you go, the harder it's going to be to get out. So you've told us one version, which parts may be true, but it's not the complete truth. We know that. It's written all over your face. And you know what else is written all over your face? You look tough. And by that I mean you look like you're worn out.
I am to say tired and worn out.
You want to teach 20 kindergartners the week before fucking Christmas?
Okay.
But a month ago, 5 weeks ago, when we sat with you in the principal's office, you looked the same way.
I looked like this since I was probably 6 years old because my mom's fucking every guy with a belt. I had to take care of my kids, my brother and sister all through high school. I move away to college. What does my sister do? She drops out and gets pregnant. What does my brother do? Fucking, he's been in and out of juvie since he was 14. And guess where he's at again? He's in fucking jail again. He just got out 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Okay. And how old are you?
25.
Okay. That sucks. That sucks, and I'm sorry that you've had to live that life. And I'm sorry that you're having to go through this. I truly am. But everybody hits bottom when they're in a situation like that.
Oh, this is not bottom.
Well, I think you've
This is
hit bottom.
far from bottom.
I think you've hit bottom. Your husband is in jail for murder. And you're drug into that mess. And you know more, Cindy. Were you 100% involved in this? Were you standing there when she was killed? I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
I was at home.
Okay? But you know about it.
I know what you've told me and what I've seen in the paper and on the Daily News app on my phone.
Yeah, but there's information that you know that has certainly got your mind going,
And your vehicle,
at the very least.
Your vehicle was at the crime scene. We know your vehicle was there. Your vehicle. I understand you both own it, but you drive it.
Well, most of the time I drive it, but
Right.
Were you driving it that night?
no.
Okay. There's blood on the passenger door of that vehicle that belongs to Angela. How did that get there?
You're positive it's not?
Positive.
Absolutely positive.
100% positive.
Well, I don't know why her blood would be on my car door if she supposedly died in her house.
Because who killed her was in your car. That's all.
The man that I don't think gives two shits about you, Cindy. He may care about you, again, as being the mother of his children. But other than that, you saw the 3 pictures. That's what he's
I saw
attracted
pictures
to.
of 3 Asian women.
Yeah, you want to know how I found them? Through the phone numbers I found on your husband's phone of sexual talk and conversation, or I've sat in front of them and they've told me about the sex they've had with your husband. And I can narrow it down to the exact days and times for that conversation with the text messages on his phone.
You don't want to believe that, Cindy. And that's understandable. But it's the truth. That's the type of person we're dealing with here. Are you guilty of anything to do with this crime?
No.
Well, then work with us. It's time to, you've been cleaning up. It sounds like you've been cleaning up.
For a long time.
Uh,
You've been taking care of everything for a long time.
Yeah. And it's not fair, but nobody deserves a life like this. You say that, yeah, you're in your small little circle at home with just the kids there and everything. Me too. And that's what I want too. That's life to me. Not out running around carrying on a life over here and a life over there. That's not my idea of a great life. It sounds like we share the same idea of what it should be. But you and Richie don't. He likes that too. From all the information that we've seen and from research that we've done, yeah, he likes the family life too. But he's not about to give up everything else. What do you know about his involvement in this?
Nothing.
That's not true.
No. And I told you that first day that we interviewed you at the school that he's just your, everything about you just sits in front of me. You knew more. No, I know that you know more. We're at that point now.
Yeah.
I look at you and I'm back again. Tired, worn out. I know you've had the depression. You talked about it with him. The baby stuff. You've got so much weight on your shoulders. And he just is just sitting in this room the last 20 minutes, he has added a ton more weight on your shoulders. He doesn't care. He doesn't. That's not fair. You have children that you need to be at home with, you care for and love. And it pisses me off even more that, in a sense, he doesn't care about his kids either. So reckless with his life that now you're having to sit here right now with us. And he's in jail. You look tired. You look tired the day we were sitting there. You were worn out. I know you've got some health problems that you've been battling, some female problems that you've been battling. It's like one thing after the other. And I'm sorry that we have to give this information to you. But you're wrapped up in this just as much as he is.
At this point, the detectives have no idea just how wrapped up in the events she really is. But Cynthia continues to refuse to speak.
Why did you hate Angela so bad?
I don't think I ever said I hated her.
Why did you dislike her to the point of calling her a bitch or
Crazy, dumb.
Because Sunday after Sunday, I can see and the complete different kids they were after being a week with her. And then it takes 2-3 days to get them sleeping properly and eating properly. And because over there, they
Into their routine. It took a couple days to get them into like a routine, right? A healthy routine. A healthy family routine. And that bugged you at this job. Because it's stressful and it adds more work to your day. And on top of that, you still have to pay her money for kids.
yeah, because she lies about the income that she has.
And that's stressful. And you want to know what pissed me off is the fact that he's helping Jennifer out, but, I mean, really? Take care of your first family. Take care of your wife and your kids.
You're saying I'm not taking care of her?
No, I didn't say that. I'm telling Richie you shouldn't be taking care of Jennifer.
I'll
You
say
guys
it.
should be first.
If you're looking for somebody, well, I'll say it, you're not taken care of.
Because I'm tired?
Because
No.
you're tired, whether you're physically abused, I can't prove any of that. I'm not going to sit here and say that because I have no proof of it. But are you mentally abused, emotionally abused? Yes.
Not from Richie.
Yes, you are. He does not take care of you. That's not.
Because he's too busy taking care of other women.
And I think he's the type of person to where if he made a commitment to one of these other women, they'd probably slip right into his same routine because that's the type of person he is.
So I'd have a house with them, raise
Talked
kids with
about it.
them.
He talked about it. Yes.
Yes, he did. I don't know what the plans were. I would assume that he would have divorced you then at some point.
And I know that him and Jennifer talked about you guys not being together.
And let me say something else that's probably fair to you. Are we trying to rattle your cage with some of this stuff?
You are.
We said no, we're not. But yeah, you're right. Of course.
I watch Law and Order on a daily basis.
Okay. And we are. I guess I don't look at it as rattle your cage, but I'm looking at it as putting it on the table where it needs to be seen. So we are trying to. I mean, for us to sit here and say why else would we be talking about that? So you're right on that. Have I been looking forward to talking to you to see if you knew about this? Because I couldn't imagine any wife that's okay with this lifestyle. Yes, I have been looking forward to this meeting.
And I kind of knew pretty quick that you didn't have a clue about the sexual relationships that he's having. And I felt bad for you.
But some people told us you knew about it. And I thought, wow,
Yeah.
how is that even possible?
I still don't believe it. You can say I'm in denial or whatever, but until I see
That's fine.
my husband having sex with another
And it's
woman,
gonna come out. It'll come out when it's
it's gonna be a
time.
he said, she said situation.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't have video of it. We have these women that,
Interviews.
and women that will testify to that. I mean, these are women in his life, Cindy. I mean,
And it wasn't just like in the last month. This has been going on for months.
I think you both knew that eventually we were coming. Is that fair to say?
You weren't surprised to see me at the school. When I told you in the classroom door that you're gonna come with me down to the police department, you didn't ask one question. You weren't curious whatsoever.
Because I know from watching TV that anything you say is used against you even before your Miranda rights are read to you.
No, I don't think it's that. I don't. I think in the back of your mind you knew that you would be down here at some point, or you would see us at some point. I think you knew that.
What could be used against you if you did nothing wrong?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. Well, I can tell you right now, if you did nothing wrong, you're not in trouble. You know that. Richie murdered his ex-wife, and he killed the baby that was inside her stomach. Regardless of who Angela Wilder was, that baby
He's in it.
will never see the world.
And they wanted kids. They wanted more kids. They wanted.
Oh, because their 5-passenger tiny ass clown car proves that they want more kids.
I'm curious about this. You're really angry towards Angela. Okay,
I'm not angry at anybody. I'm angry at this whole stupid situation.
Every time that Richie shared an email with you, forwarded an email from Angela to you.
He never forwarded them to me. I just read them right off of his phone, or he sent
them to you
on phone.
That's what I mean. I'm gonna say every time, your response was a variety of
Dumb bitch,
dumb, stupid bitch, fat bitch, fucking crazy, psycho bitch.
Yeah, because it's crazy. All the things in those emails are lies.
So you didn't mean it. You didn't want Angela around either. Obviously. You gotta get the kids back onto a schedule every time you pick her up. 960s constantly. You're abusing, right? That's what they'd say.
Yeah.
And where'd they come from, Angela? It pissed you off. I knew you were pissed off at her the first time we interviewed you.
I'm pissed off at a lot of things. Am I going to go kill my mom because of the shitty child I had? Am I going to go kill my sister because she doesn't know how to be a fucking mom?
We're not talking about your mom or sister. We're talking about the ex-wife of your husband.
Do you have anything in common with Angela?
Married Richie. Had a kid with him.
And at some point you'll both be the ex-wife?
If you look at it that way, I guess he's going to leave me.
I think eventually he would have.
Eventually, yeah. Had this not happened and your guys' lives went on, there's no way that there's no way that would have survived that relationship. You would have eventually been the ex-wife, and it could just as easily be you. I mean, if he had it in him to do this to Angela, he certainly could do this to you too. Because eventually, you know what? You're going to be the dumb bitch that he's having to deal with now. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be the dumb bitch and the crazy slut, whore, whatever else to the other woman.
And we may not be able to see that it was violently physical between you and Richie, but at some point, I think you would have caught on to his other life. And I don't think you're one to hold back when you find out something like that, because you got pissed off at him when he didn't have his wedding ring on at work.
He doesn't even have a wedding ring. He's never had a wedding ring from our marriage.
But you were pissed. You made a comment about all these chicks wanting him. Need to get a wedding ring on that finger. Okay? I think you would have eventually found out about all of his extra women on the side, and you would have told him how pissed you were. Richie doesn't like that. He doesn't like to be confronted about his stuff on the side, his ladies on the side, until he's still on the side. And eventually, it would have got physical. And he'd already lost his cool at work. That had nothing to do with any of those pictures at all. Nothing. That was on his own volition. He did that all on his own.
More than once.
He lost control. I know twice. Once, Trinity knows about. I know another time. Because he talked about it with somebody.
Has he ever been physical with you? Because that's strange to me. Because he was in his past. And with domestic violence, that's what we see over.
He fucking had to be with Angela. Bitch is psycho. He'd be in the middle of marketplace and she'd just start swearing at him.
But words are different than physically hurting someone.
Yeah, and when they lived together, she would slap him. She'd slap him because he fucking didn't close the door properly. 3 years old.
Is that okay? It's not, but that doesn't mean we cause harm to people and physically hurt them or get arrested for it.
And you're hearing that from Richie, right? Have you ever witnessed any of that from her?
Witnessed Angela.
Slap him or?
No, because anytime I see her, she's sitting in her vehicle.
Right, and that was on Sundays during the exchange, right? Just Chris and Richie would exchange the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know Angela was mean. I've seen that. I've read it, I've seen it, I've heard about it, I know about it. I know she could be mean. I've read the emails. Regardless of how mean of a bitch somebody can be, it's not okay to kill them.
So Richie did something horrible. And you know. And it's time that you step up, Cindy, and be the mother that you never had. A lot of people learn from their parents. A lot of people learn good. Most people learn good.
Mm-hmm.
Many learn bad or experience bad. And you've experienced bad. And I'm not saying that. I can only imagine that you took that bad and thought, I'm not going to be that way. But it's time to be honest with us and decide that you're going to change, because you need to change too. And you know it, because you are not comfortable in that body right now. Are you? Be fair. Be honest.
I don't know. I don't know anything else. I guess that does.
You do know more. You may think, maybe this isn't that big of a deal or anything, and it probably isn't, but it would satisfy me to the point to where you're at least telling us what you know, but you're not telling us that right now. Why did he do it?
I still don't know that he did do it.
He did it. We don't need to say that again. You don't give an arrest warrant and put somebody in jail for murder, and you don't have the proof that they did it. You don't do that. This isn't TV. TV's close to how things go. It's pretty close. But this isn't TV. We're in real life. And I'll say it again. This isn't just stuff getting thrown together. Everything is in order. And that's why he's in jail for murder.
So why did he do it? Just like Detective Mattice just explained, we're over that hump. He did it. Why did he do it? Because he hates her? Because of money? Because of the children? Why?
You're asking me a question I don't know.
I'm asking you a question that I know you know. I know you know why he did it. And you said you're 25 years old. You've probably matured fast at the wrong point in your life. But you need to overcome that and move on from here. But you know more about what went on. Do we need you to tell us that? No. Do we want you to tell us that? Yes. I want to know why. I want to know how. I want to know other things.
You knew how she died.
I know part of the how. I don't know all of it. I know there's more to how things are arranged and carried out and stuff like that. That's what I mean by the how. We told you how she died. I want to know more of the other stuff. How important is it for you to sit and tell us? I don't know. Probably not that important. I think it's more important for you and for your well-being to be honest with us and tell us. And again, doing this for several years, we can sit here and talk to a person and it's written on your face that you know more. It's not written what you know, but it's there. You know more. Let's start with that. Is that fair to say?
No,
Why?
because I don't know.
But you lied to us, and essentially it looks like you covered for him. And that was during the first interview with you.
Didn't remember.
You lied about that night.
What did I lie about?
You said he was
wasn't
home
there.
all night.
He wasn't home. You said you put him there home all night. He wasn't home all night.
When I woke up
for my
kids, he was home.
Mm-mm.
By now, there must have been so much going on in her mind about Richie, the other women, and the kids. But she still sticks stubbornly to her story that she knows nothing about what happened.
Let's take a second to just, you have information on this. Without telling me anything on it, let's just be fair and with each other. You have information that you can tell us, correct? No. You must. I just can't imagine a relationship that would go through the beginning of this investigation to where you wouldn't be asking questions, you wouldn't be sharing information.
There was a time that you woke up that morning and Richie wasn't there. And from your personality type that I've picked up on, you're not one to just let it slide. If you asked him, or you knew where he was going and what he was doing, or you asked him where he was, what he was doing.
Tell us about that.
He was home the 3 times that I was up in the north and he was at home.
And the 3 times you were up, what about the other times that you know he wasn't home?
When I was up with the kids, he was at home that night. When he wasn't home, it was before I came home from work.
She sounds almost defeated, but she still refuses to give them any other information. The detectives then give her a final chance to come clean about what she knows, but nothing they say can persuade her to speak.
So I just want you to know, if I ever die, don't investigate it. Just fucking, I'm dead, move on to fucking life.
No.
Honestly, do that.
No. If that ever happened to you, just like it happened to Angela, and it happens to many people around our world, I can only speak for the city of Minot. I don't care who you are. I am going to bat for you.
You're a human being. You're a person. It doesn't matter what your history is. It doesn't matter who in your life. Nobody deserves to be killed.
Why would you deserve that?
I don't know, I think it's just, people get so wrapped up on everything. Like, just move on with your life. Like, have you ever heard one of Taylor Swift's fucking songs about the breakup? Fucking move on with your life. Like, fuck. Like, Adele just as bad. I'm gonna call you 1,000 times. No, fucking don't.
I know what you mean.
Just move on.
No.
So the one thing I don't move on for is the person that cannot speak for themselves. And in many cases, that's a child. that maybe a 1-year-old with a broken arm, or a 3-year-old that's been sexually molested. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick, right? Well, we have a child in this situation. We have an unborn baby. And now we have someone that can't speak for themselves.
And I mean, you brought that up. If you're ever found dead, God, I hope that's not ever the case. I think I don't know you that well, but I think you're a decent person. You became a teacher because you wanted to help, even though that they're driving you fucking crazy right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And Mom, I think they frustrate you, but I think you do your best as a mom. I really do. And being a mom is stressful. I am a mom. I know exactly how it is. It's a heavy load. And you have to be mom to these two kids.
Alex is there if you
To
want.
do that, we're gonna have to be there. So don't lead us in the direction that we have to. If you know something,
Let's go with your gut feeling then. If I were to believe that you didn't know anything, you certainly had to think that Richie was involved in this.
No.
it never crossed your mind. Why not? You know there's a history there.
You and Richie do not have the relationship to where, I mean, I don't mean to use myself as an example, but if my
Are
somebody,
100% honest with each other.
oh no, you're not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd be telling us a lot about this murder. But if somebody sat my wife down and said, "Yeah," told her that I'm in jail for murder, she would be devastated. She wouldn't act like I'm not surprised. And that was your response.
No, I don't believe you. That's my response.
What do you need? What do you need to? When he walked by you this last time, he was on his way to the jail. He's going to jail. He's booked in. He's sitting in a jail cell, and he's not getting out. He's staying there. Okay, you're gonna look at him through glass. I can touch him. Nothing.
I'm seeing you trying to do.
Nope. He's gone. And
The
if you
jail is
really
gone.
don't know, and if you really weren't there, how convenient of that was it for him to use your vehicle to go there and do this? He didn't give a shit. He put you there with him.
Despite finally showing some emotion, she still won't say anything. And the detectives genuinely seem to believe she is a victim in all of this, faithfully protecting her abusive and manipulative husband, despite everything he has done. In the end, they give up, realizing that they're not going to get anything from her. But they tell her the fact that she seems to be digging in so hard is worrying, because it suggests there's something she doesn't want to tell them. And then they leave her with a warning that if there is something, they'll find out. The irony is that Cynthia was hiding something pretty big, namely the fact that she and Richie had conspired to kill Angela together. And apart from the fact that Richie had been the one who actually brandished the knife, she was just as guilty as he was. And nobody ever would have found out if she had just been able to hold her tongue. But she couldn't. In the end, she couldn't keep her secret to herself and confided her crimes to a friend and the shocked friend then took the information to the police. This led to her arrest, and when her case went to trial, she was found guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, the same sentence Richie received for his part in the murder. If we take what the cops said to her at face value, it seems she really did pull the wool over their eyes and make them believe that she was an innocent victim in all of this. But the truth was, Cynthia's actions revealed deep resentment and a willingness to cross moral lines most never would. Richie may have been the one who stabbed Angela to death, but they were both in on it together. And without Cynthia's encouragement, Richie probably wouldn't have acted alone. Cynthia wanted Angela out of her and Richie's lives, and she was willing to plan her murder to make that happen. But as Cynthia found out during her police interview, Richie wasn't the man she believed he was. The happy family life she had hoped for after Angela's death had been an illusion all along. Angela is still dead, though. Her children have no mother, and their father is behind bars for her murder. Richie and Cynthia's child will also grow up with no parents, all because of the bitterness and hostility Cynthia allowed to grow unchecked until the day Richie left the house in the middle of the night to carry out the brutal and premeditated murder of his ex-wife that Cynthia had helped him plan.